Now with the Kiger, Renault's funda has been simple. Keep it stylish, keep it on a budget, and Indians will lap it up because obviously we love style on a budget. And that seems to have worked for them because they've already sold 50,000 units of the Kiger since its launch. Now, however, we have with us the new model year 2022 Kiger, and we are here in Kerala today to drive that new car and tell you exactly what has changed. Hi, my name is Dhruv Paliwal, you're watching AutoX, and today we're driving the model year 2022 Renault Kiger. Now before we get rolling with the Kiger, we have a small request. If you like the kind of content we make, if you want to see more of this on your feed in YouTube, then we highly recommend that you hit that like button because that's how YouTube knows that you like our content and want to watch more of it. Share this with your friends if they're looking to buy the Kiger or they just like cars in general, and hit that subscribe button so that you can stay updated with our latest content at the earliest as and when it comes out. Now, is orange really the new black? Well, I do not seem to think so. I think black will always be black, and Renault also thinks so because they've given this new stealth black shade here on the model year 2022 version of the Kiger. And while stealth implies it would ideally be matte or something like that, which is a little less conspicuous, but it's a gloss black finish here and it looks nice. I think this shade of black looks nice. It will take some maintenance, some upkeep to keep it looking like this, to keep that shine intact, to make sure that you don't see any dust marks on the car. But nonetheless, the car, it looks nice. You have this nice piano black finish on the bumper down there. That also works really well. Apart from this, there are a few other visual distinctions as well from before. So let's go check them out. The first one here is right here actually. It's this skid plate. It's been changed from the previous version. Now if you're really keen, you have a really keen eye, you'll probably figure it out by just looking at the car. But if not, don't worry, we got you covered. Let's take you around to the other side and show you what's changed there. Alright, now we are here on the side of the Kiger. What's changed here? Well, the only change here on the wheel is this red wheel cap. Looks sporty. We could have done with a new alloy wheel design as well though. Then you have this turbo decal here on the side. Now I don't think it might be particularly visible on the camera over here, but you'll get an overlay shot to see exactly what it is like. And these two stripes of red. I mean, red on black really brings out sporty credentials of a car, and on that front Renault's done a good job. Now let's move towards the back of the car. Okay, we are at the back of the Kiger here, and honestly the changes are not a lot, but you do get this chrome belt line here at the end of the boot lid. It is not a big change, and I honestly think this chrome line looks better on the red than it does on the black. But that aside, I think it's a good visible marker to distinguish this model year 2022 Kiger from the older car, and I think it does look handsome. Now these were the exterior changes on the model year 2022 Kiger. Let's step inside the car to find out exactly what's changed on the inside. Alright, we are sitting inside the Kiger now, and when it comes to visual changes, there are two. First of all, there's a new accent on the dashboard which gives it a nice layered look, and the accent, it's been finished really well, looks really cool. Then there's red stitching on the seats, amping up those sporty credentials, are we? Both of these things, they look cool, but we could have done with a couple of more changes. You do get them in the form of feature upgrades. The first one is wireless charging. You get wireless charging now in the Kiger as standard, and the second one is cruise control. Now the thing is, to accommodate that cruise control button here, which is in the instrument cluster like all earlier Renaults, it's there in the instrument cluster. So to make space for it, that start stop button actually has been pushed over to the left, and it now sits in the center of the instrument console. That's it. Those are the changes on the inside, but just to give you a view of what the Kiger is from inside, here are a few shots of the Kiger's interiors. Check them out. Alright, so we're done with the statics, we're done telling you with what's changed and how it's changed. Now let's come to the stuff that you would only figure out once you start driving the car. And I think I'll start with the engine and the transmission here. Obviously, nothing has changed when it comes to both these things. So I'm just going to reiterate what we already know about the Kiger. It's a 1 liter engine, it's a turbo petrol. The specs will be down on your screen. And the car we are driving here has a CVT with it. So in case of the CVT, you actually get slightly lesser torque. I think with the manual transmission, you get 160 Newton meters, and with the CVT, it's been reduced to 152 Newton meters. That's there. Now you might feel a little shortchanged by that, but I think the engine and the transmission here, they work well together. The tuning's been done in such a manner that you have 3 drive modes: Eco, Normal and Sport. Now Eco is kind of lifeless. You have to really struggle for a lot of power. You have to really put your foot down to make sure that you're getting a bit of shove, you're getting that drive out of the car. But in Normal and Sport, the Kiger's engine, it feels very peppy. There's kind of an instant response where you slightly get on the gas and you immediately feel this push thing. You immediately feel this surge that you start moving ahead. And it's not something that carries all throughout the rev range because obviously it's not a very sporty car. But what is happening here is that in traffic conditions, in city conditions, especially in conditions like this where we are driving right now, where you encounter a lot of stop and go traffic and you need that shove, you need that drive to sometimes make quick overtakes. Over there, this kind of a throttle response, it is quite nice. Although there's a downside to it. If you like to drive in a very sedated manner, if you don't like to make too many overtakes, if you want to just be very easy with the car, you do have to get a little used to this kind of a throttle configuration, because to you it can feel really sensitive. Apart from that, the engine, it works well. It is a 3-cylinder and there is a lot of vibration when the car is idling. You even feel it judder sometimes. But once you start moving, I think the experience of driving the Renault Kiger, the 1 liter turbo petrol, I have to say it's not out and out the most refined car obviously I've driven in this segment, but it does the job well. It does not feel like something that you wouldn't want to drive. It doesn't feel like something that's really raw. It is refined to the point where it can be used on a daily basis. And this engine, this transmission, it'll keep you happy. As far as the fuel efficiency goes, I think you have a lot of options here. It depends on how you drive it. If you try and get a lot of power at once, then this engine, it will not be efficient. But if you drive it sedately, if you build up your speeds in a linear fashion, then I think you can get a decent fuel efficiency figure from the Renault Kiger. There's the ride quality. Now the Kiger, it's always had this plush ride quality. Even the older car, it was quite plush. It was quite floaty actually. And I'm not paying the Kiger a compliment here. Yes, if the road is broken, if you are on a gravel road where you have slight undulations up and down, not too big, mind you, then you can just floor the Kiger and it will take all of them in its stride. I think it really works well when you're doing it around 40-50 on a gravelly road. I think that's where the Kiger suspension, it really works wonders, because it's absorbing everything. So nothing is coming into the cabin because of that plush ride quality. But if you do hit a bump that is actually a little bit bigger than say your regular bumps on the road, if you hit like a really deep pothole or a really huge speed breaker, then the Kiger, it kind of has this tendency where the refinement of the suspension is found a little lacking. You get a lot of suspension noise inside the car. You also find that on the regular gravel road, but because the ride quality over there is so nice, you don't really mind it. Then obviously you hear that thud when the suspension bottoms out also quite a lot on the Kiger. And in general, this feels like a not very refined suspension. It is a one-trick pony. It knows how to dampen out bad road surfaces really well, and that's something that you have to give it marks for. But it's not an all-round suspension, especially while cornering. You really don't feel very confident with the Kiger, and that's okay. We understand that the Kiger is built for general people, for a layman who doesn't really want to hustle it around corners. But then still, you have come to expect a certain benchmark, a minimum benchmark from all car makers, and that is where we think the Kiger lacks a little when it comes to refinement of its ride quality. It's a one-trick pony, but it could have done with a little more weapons in its arsenal. Moving on to handling, yeah, not my favorite part about the Renault Kiger here, because it's got this really vague and numb steering. You are feeling nothing that is happening down there literally, which is fine as long as you've made the steering easy to use. And the Kiger steering, it's not easy to use. What is happening here is that at slow speeds the steering is very heavy. And I'm not complaining here. I'm used to driving Skoda Rapids and cars with heavier steering, so I should not feel this to be a problem. But in those cars, the thing is, if you're getting a heavier steering, then you're getting a lot of feel and feedback, and it weighs up progressively. Over here, none of that happens. The feel and feedback, it's not there. It doesn't even weigh up progressively. There's just this one single weight on the steering wheel that you'll find no matter how much you turn it around. That gets a little nervy. It feels like it's been done to give it that high speed stability, especially when you're cruising at high speeds. But yeah, it's not working. I think this would have been the perfect time for Renault to slightly update the steering, make it more friendly to use. I mean, yeah, I can understand that giving a steering that has feel and feedback could have been a little too much. Just make it lighter to use. So at least I'm not complaining about it in the city. Here, doing U-turns in this car, doing U-turns in the parking lot, maneuvering it in close quarters, it does start to feel like work. And when the entire experience of the Kiger is all about the fact that you want to make your life easy, at least that's what you get the general impression, then I think the steering could have been on the lighter side. I don't mind missing feel and feedback, but I do mind it being heavy for no unnecessary reason. So yeah, steering, it's somewhere in the middle. The brakes, they're good. They work really well. And again, the problem here is the feel and feedback. You do get good stopping power, but you have to get used to that set stopping power, because no matter, whenever you press the pedal, you will not know what the brakes are doing. And so yes, the overall theme here seems to be that the Kiger is not a driver's car. And in terms of brakes, at least I like the fact that you have the stopping power. It's only about getting used to it and using it so that you're able to extract the maximum possible in any given scenario. Alright, that was a fun drive of the model year 2022 Renault Kiger. And I think if I had to use just one word to sum up the changes, it's the same. It's the same car as before. As it's a model year update, you really don't expect a lot of updates. You don't expect a lot of new changes to the car, and that seems to be the case. You have a new color, you have cruise control, which I think is a very beneficial feature, especially, well, not here in Kerala, but in other parts of the country. As far as visual upgrades go, you do have a few on the outside and on the inside, so that's going to be helpful for new buyers who want their Kiger to look kind of new. Now, as far as the drive experience goes, it's the same car as before. There's nothing that has changed on that front. So exactly what is the Kiger doing now? Is it giving you something different? No, that's not the case. The Kiger continues to be that SUV, that stylish SUV, but on a budget, so that if you do not want to compromise on style while remaining under a set budget that you have, then the Kiger continues to be a great option for you. That was all about this video. That was all about the model year 2022 Renault Kiger. What are your thoughts on the car? Obviously, reach out to us in the comment section below. Tell us what you think about the car. Is there something you want to know about this we haven't covered in the video, you would like to know about all of that? You know, you can again ask us all of that in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, obviously, if you liked the video, hit that like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so that you stay updated with the latest AutoX videos as and when they come out. Thank you so much for watching.